Good evening. People in Southampton who say they're living in a death trap have begged their MP for help. Families in Oceana Boulevard say the tragedy of the Grenfell fire has made no difference to their plight.
Newly elected MP Darren Paffy has heard so many concerns about fire safety in buildings in the city that he organised a meeting last night where he said that people must be held accountable.
But after 10 years in a building where no action has been taken, many fear the same excuses will continue. The developer, Barratt Redrow, says it will address the issues. Sally Simmonds reports.
So here we have another hole in the ceiling of one of the penthouses and buckets underneath to collect.
A tour of Oceana Boulevard ahead of his meeting, and MP Darren Paffy is horrified.
Seeing it is something else. It's the kind of thing that no one would accept in their own home, least of all those who are responsible for putting this right. So the government is really clear the action has not happened fast enough. We need to get those remediation works doing. Those responsible need to get their act together and make sure that people's homes are safe.
So we don't have cladding at our building, but we do have issues with wooden stacked balconies, decking, smoke extraction, air opening vents, and compartmentation issues, which we're waiting for all to be fixed, hopefully by the developer.
For years, the water has leaked in Mike Jeffrey's flat. The water close to a fire alarm, a fire risk.
I've got used to it by now, but you know, it is a bit of a pain, but there we are, we get on with it. It's one of those things that gets talked about, but nothing gets done, which is very frustrating.
Fire safety issues here are part of the umbrella term cladding. Since the Grenfell tragedy, where 72 died, promises to address buildings have been made. But residents here didn't need to read this week's National Audit Office report to know that delays were inevitable and budgets would rocket.
The issue really is that we're still at the stage where every single actor is arguing over liability. They're all pushing people from pillar to post while they fight about the scope of works, and it's really leaving residents completely stuck and trapped rather than putting their safety first.
One resident here told me with tears in his eyes that a decade of delays, waiting and waiting for problems to get fixed before he started a family, had now almost certainly cost him the chance of having children.
The financial impact is that no one can sell, the emotional impact immeasurable.
I think it just underlined it. You know, it was a terrible tragedy and we don't want it happening here.
I moved in with my partner and now we have a young family, so we're a little restricted on space now, and you know, we're just stuck, unable to move on with our lives. You know, it's difficult.
At the meeting, Darren Paffy said despite the complex situation, people must be held accountable. Sally Simmonds, ITV News, Southampton.
Well, in response to the complaint about Oceana Boulevard, the developer, Barratt Redrow, told us, we are committed to funding and fixing fire safety defects for residents and leaseholders. Initial investigations, they say, are starting next week to determine what works will be necessary before an application is made to the building safety regulator to carry out the work as soon as possible.